We are following voting underway in Durham County right now, where there was a glitch this morning in the electronic check-in system. And there's much more to decide beyond the presidency or the governor's race. The Bull City also has a major referendum on the ballot. CBS North Carolina's Birchelle Edmay joins us live in Durham with more. And Birchelle, this county is dealing with a technical issue that could cause people to wait longer. Is that right?
That is exactly right. That is what officials have told us. And in fact, it's been quite a busy morning and already an afternoon for these election officials and workers. As you mentioned, there has been a technical glitch that is being blamed for the county having to switch over to paper poll books. And we're also learning just in a few minutes even further issues, this time for Precinct 31. That's Bethesda on South Miami Boulevard. There, they have run out of the paper ATV forms. Those are the forms you have to sign to authorize to be able to vote. So they are no longer able to use that, and also the electronic ones don't work. But before we get to further talking about the issues at hand here, we want to let you know what some voters are saying about all of this.
That was easy. I didn't find that it increased wait time much, so it went very smoothly, at least for me.
Well, the primaries were like all the way down the street, so compared to that, it's pretty great.
And that's just a few people we spoke with, and many told us that it took about 30 to 40 minutes of a wait here, at least if you've been in line in the last 2 hours. So for the most part, many people said they weren't too bothered by that line. But once inside, one voter told us on social media the poll book sign-in was frustrating and long. Officials say that is due to a technical glitch and not a security threat. The cause is unknown at this time, but as a precaution, election officials decided to move all 57 precincts to paper poll books to check in to vote. We asked about the vendor that supplies these machines and how reliable the company is.
We have used VR systems before. They have been a reliable source for us. This is not something that I am aware that's happened in the past. And like I said, we don't know what the nature of the glitch is, so I don't want to comment any further on that until we know what actually happened.
And again, officials reassuring the public that this will not affect their ability to vote. At most, they say perhaps you'll see just a bit of a longer line when you do get to your polling center. And we, of course, will continue to monitor things right here at South Regional Library, as well as what's going on at Bethesda and throughout the Durham County. And we do encourage you, if you have any problems or issues at your polling place, to let us know on social media. And you can do that by using the hashtag #NCVote. Reporting live, Birchelle Edmay, CBS North Carolina.
You can probably imagine it has been a very busy 24 hours for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump leading up to Election Day, with both candidates popping up for last-minute campaign stops at battleground states throughout the country and, of course, right here in North Carolina. CBS correspondent Craig Boswell joins us live from a polling place in Sterling, Virginia with more. Good afternoon there, Craig. And tell us what you're seeing. Is it as busy there as it is here in North Carolina?
Oh, most definitely, Russ. Good to talk to you. You know, you were talking about the candidates being very busy. I bet they're very tense now as this race moves into the afternoon. We have seen steady lines here at Sterling, Virginia since very early this morning. These polls have now been open for more than 6 hours, so this has been going on for quite some time. This polling place has now had more than a third of its voters show up here. And some of these voters are expressing relief after they've cast their ballots. Look, the candidates are also getting in their votes today, too.
Supporters mobbed Hillary Clinton and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, as they filled out their ballots in their hometown of Chappaqua, New York. She greeted voters waiting outside and said she feels humbled.
I know how much responsibility goes with this, and so many people are counting on the outcome of this election.
Her running mate, Tim Kaine, got an even earlier start, casting his ballot at 6 a.m. in Richmond, Virginia. Donald Trump voted a few hours later in New York City.
Looking very good. Right now, it's looking very good. Based on a CBS News analysis, Hillary Clinton leads Donald Trump 214 to 186 in electoral votes. But a number of states remain up for grabs, and the outcome will likely depend on voter turnout.
Trump got off to an early lead when the first voters cast ballots in some parts of New Hampshire just after midnight. Then in the early morning hours, there were long lines of voters from New York to California, from Maine to Miami.
I really definitely just think it's important for me to exercise my right to vote.
People's choice. All America is not like me.
While there were no perfect choices in this one, I feel like one candidate was clearly above and beyond the other.
Both Clinton and Trump plan to hold election night parties in New York City to watch the results.
Donald Trump did make a last-minute stop here in Northern Virginia Sunday night into Monday morning, the campaign feels like it could try to cut into that Hillary Clinton lead in Virginia. We'll find out later this evening. And of course, after this battleground blitz over the last few days, both candidates are now staying put.
From House Bill 2 to the devastating flooding caused by Hurricane Matthew, there is so much that could ultimately affect the outcome of today's election here, whether it's key races for office or crucial referendums. NC State political science professor Dr. Andrew Taylor joins us live here in the studio. And I want to talk about those two things that happened over the course of the year. HB2, a big talker, as well as Hurricane Matthew. Could they really have an effect on the election?
I think so, Russ. Further down the ballot, I don't necessarily think in the presidential race, but certainly in the gubernatorial race. We have this governor's race, of course, between incumbent Governor Pat McCrory, Attorney General Roy Cooper. It's the most closely watched one in the country. There's a lot of money coming in from outside, and both of those issues have been important. HB2, of course, has been in the news a lot and put Governor McCrory on the back foot, but his poll numbers have actually come up a little bit, possibly as an effect of his performance in the debates, but many people talking about his leadership in Hurricane Matthew recovery. And that was where we saw him a lot, essentially, and a lot of the other candidates as well. Yeah, and including the Attorney General is his opponent, of course, who was talking about price gouging. So, you know, you want to be seen in these situations as being a leader, being in control. These things, of course, aren't particularly partisan or political, and that's where you can get a lot of support from. Real time, real world, right there with you as it's happening and showing leadership. All right, North Carolina could very well decide the outcome of this presidential election, especially for Donald Trump. Talk to us about what that means for voter turnout and also what that means on the down ballot. Well, we are a battleground state. There's no doubt about it. Tim Kaine, Hillary Clinton's running mate, called it checkmate state, but it's most definitely an important state to win. My hunch is that Donald Trump cannot afford to lose it. Possibly Hillary Clinton can to get to the 270, but it has meant that we've had all this attention. We had both candidates in Raleigh yesterday. It should drive turnout and therefore have an effect further down the ballot. But although it's interesting, there's been a lot of decoupling of the presidential race from those lower ballot races because the candidates are so unpopular, because Clinton and Trump are so unpopular. In the gubernatorial candidates, the U.S. Senate race candidates, they've been trying to distance themselves a little bit and to say, look, vote for me, even if you're not voting the party line, you need to vote for me. If one candidate or one party wins North Carolina for president, does that necessarily mean the down ballot typically leans that direction as well? No, in the past it hasn't. We were talking a little bit earlier on about North Carolina not going Democratic at the presidential level for 35 years before until, with the exception, excuse me, of Obama winning in 2008. But Republicans have been strong further down the ballot. So we have a tradition of ticket splitting in North Carolina. My sense is, though, that you obviously do want your presidential candidate to do at least fairly well, stay in the ball game. I think if Trump loses the state by, say, 3 or 4 percentage points, which the polls aren't suggesting, but if he did, that would really have negative effects for Republicans further down the ballot. Resonate down the ballot. All right, Dr. Andy Taylor, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate your analysis today. Absolutely. Appreciate it.
And covering Johnston County now, some schools are closed today and being used for polling places for voters. That includes Riverdale and East Clayton Elementary. CBS North Carolina's Justin Quisenberry is live at East Clayton with a look at the turnout so far. Justin?
Well, Stephan, the stream of voters has been pretty steady today, but no long lines anywhere we've been. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see what we're seeing right now. And one man just came up to us a minute ago and said, hey, I just got here and I thought I was going to see a line, but that's certainly not the case here. Same thing over at Riverdale Elementary, where we were earlier today. At last check, more than 470 people have voted here at East Clayton so far today. Let's show you some video from inside the polling location here at East Clayton. The first people in line showed up at 6 a.m., half an hour before the polls opened. They told me early voting times just did not fit with their schedules. Other people told me they liked voting on Election Day. One woman said early voting was like having Thanksgiving on a Wednesday. While at Riverdale Elementary, we talked with a Johnston County voter who just moved here about 2 months ago. She's casting her ballot in our state for the very first time. She says she waited until today so that she could review all the candidates. And like many people I spoke with, it was a family affair.
I also came out with my little girl so that I could show her that we can exercise our right and that it's a privilege to vote. I am originally from Peru.
I came out today in part to make sure I did my public duty. to vote, but also to teach my daughter about the system and why I'm so proud to be an American.
It just seems like it's a big election to me. You know, I mean, they all are, right? But this one really matters. I think it's pivotal for our country. You know, it's two very different philosophies.
As we know, this is probably one of the most controversial elections that we've had, and I definitely wanted to make my vote be known, my voice be heard, and I just thought it was really important. That's why I brought along my daughter.
Looking at the past elections, I've always been like a political person. I've always cared, but this election means more because it's my future on the line. So being able to decide that means a lot.
In checking in with the Board of Elections, there have not been any major issues reported in voting in Johnston County so far today. Of course, our team will continue to monitor the polls throughout the area and do so throughout the day. Live in Johnston County, Justin Quisenberry, CBS North Carolina.